LeBron, if this group gets some good luck with its health, that it's thus far eluded it for 2/3 of the season, what's it going to take if you have all the guys to make the push to get you to a good position come the start of the postseason?
I don't know. Not sure. We haven't gotten that point. So it's hard for me to say.
All right, so the Lakers didn't really do anything last night to fortify their rotation. Perk, was that a mistake?
You know what? Today is your lucky day.
Don't touch me.
Now, today is your lucky day because you were right. You were right. A couple weeks ago, Richard Jefferson was on air talking about how they should trade for DeJounte Murray and how it does make sense and things to that nature. And last night was a prime example. I was saying the Lakers should stand pat. There's nothing out there that can move the needle. And I want to apologize to Braun because, yes, we know what Jokic is going to bring on a night-to-night basis. But Anthony Davis and Jokic, they canceled each other out. By the way, a healthy AD is a special Anthony Davis. But Jamal Murray, that is a problem. Jamal Murray and any quick guard that the Lakers face is a problem. I mean, it's a sweep around the perimeter when it comes to sliding those puppies. So I got to give credit to Richard. I believe that they should have made the move yesterday and got DeJounte Murray if they could have.
Well, look, you just have to go look at your formulas in the past. When you had, different guys, even when they had Rondo and you had a guy, a point of defensive attack. We've talked about the Milwaukee Bucks, and, the head of their snake is gone and they're struggling on the defensive end. With the Lakers, it's very, very similar, right? They don't have anybody that puts that pressure on the top guard. They don't have anybody really, in my mind, that can defend that top guard. They've got big wings, which help. You got Anthony Davis behind you. That helps. But when we were talking about DeJounte Murray, it was like, wait a second. Him and Jamal Murray, in my opinion, going toe-to-toe, that's even on any given night. Jamal Murray going to have to play defense. DeJounte, we know, plays defense. And then you can figure it out around that. But, look, the Lakers, they're 29th in three-pointers made. That's not going to get it done for any LeBron James team in the history of LeBron James. 20 years, that's not going to get it done. So did they need to make a move? Yes, they did. This is their roster, but I do believe that they will settle in now that this is what they have and move forward.
Well, it's hard to need to make a move and also not be able to make a move.
Yeah, when you talk to executives around the league, they were not surprised that the Lakers were not able to get a DeJounte Murray deal done. The price for DeJounte Murray from the Hawks, anybody, not just the Lakers, was very high. But I think there was a surprise that the Lakers did nothing, primarily because they're about $1.5 million or so over the luxury tax. And not doing a deal to get under the tax could affect them in the repeater in years future. I know that doesn't make a difference against the Denver Nuggets. They also didn't do anything to open up a roster spot so that they could maybe play a little bit more aggressively in the buyout market that's coming. So I think there was some surprise that the Lakers, also, by the way, just from a money standpoint, had they gotten under the luxury tax, they would have gotten themselves an 8-figure bonus from the other luxury taxpayers. So there was a big surprise in the league. The Lakers did nothing, but not necessarily because they thought that there was something to do talent-wise.
It's funny just because the conversations that we had coming into the season, you said Rob Pelinka had one of the best summers as an executive, re-signing guys, adding Reeves, Taurean Prince, getting D'Lo back, Hachimura. Christian Wood was even a late sign, adding length that people thought could be a backup to kind of AD when he goes down because he is prone to missing games. They won the in-season tournament for whatever that matters. It was something that people tried to win. They did. For whatever level that means.
It means something. We could talk about the thing. It means something.
So they won that. Yeah. You know what I mean? They've proven that they could beat some of the best teams when they play their best basketball. This is a consistency thing. Mm-hmm. This is a consistency thing with the role play. You don't have that issue with Denver. Every single player in that starting lineup is plug and fit, bro. They know their role. We got to figure out ways that D'Lo and Reeves can continually have successful nights. But last night you saw a good example of just the level that Denver's on. They are the best team in the Western Conference. And every time they play a big game, they win. Jamal's calm and collective. And, I mean,
well, despite what didn't happen, look, the Lakers they're holding firmly to that play-in spot. They're in 9th place. We saw the Heat make a run from the play-in to the NBA Finals. And when you look at who they could potentially face in the postseason, there's some interesting matchups.
They could catch the.
Can they catch the Pelicans?
Well, okay.
Not the way they've played this year.
If they can't get up to 8th, though, right, they're going to have to win 2 single elimination games, right, in order to be able to advance to the playoffs at all just to make it. But how many of those teams, when you're looking at, we've talked about this is the Lakers, but you talked about the offseason that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers have had. What Woj said yesterday is they kind of believe that their trade deadline moves are getting back the injured players, that Gabe Vincent, who they've been without largely all season long, Jared Vanderbilt, who we still don't know whether or not we're going to be able to see him on the floor again. If they can get this team back, we see what they do in single elimination scenarios.
Yeah.
How many teams are you picking over the Lakers?
Well, I'm not picking a lot, but
how many?
Again, no. Because again, when we say I'm going to get to it. I got you. What I know, I'm just saying is like I'm trying to figure it out because it's like based off this team right now, probably more teams than if they are healthy. Then there's probably less teams like Clippers. Like I was in the Denver Nuggets
anyway.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. But it's tough because you're saying like right now. There's probably more teams fully healthy, which we don't know if they're going to be. That's the only thing I'm trying to figure this one out because it's tough.
How many teams?
I don't have to try to figure it out. They're not going to beat the Nuggets in the seven-game series. They're not going to beat the Clippers in the seven-game series.
100% healthy.
They're not 100% healthy.
Okay.
They're not going to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves in the seven-game series.
What about the Suns?
And they're not going to beat the Phoenix Suns in the seven-game series. So that is 4 teams right now.
They're not playing all 4 teams.
But they're going to have to go through them. Because Austin brought up a great point. He talked about consistency from the role players. That means in the playoffs, you have to be consistent in the 7-game series, and then you have to be consistent again in the second round. You have to be consistent in the third and fourth round. So if I'm looking at this Laker team, and again, we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the most historical franchises in sports history, and we're talking about arguably the greatest player of all time. When you combine those two alone, we're talking about championships. Nothing more, nothing less. 7
assists. I think we need to call him Rudy Go for the rest of the segment.
That's what we call him in Minnesota.
I love it. The Bucks, they fall to 1-5 since Doc Rivers took over as the head coach. They've been the bottom third of the league just across the board here. That's the bad news. The good news, Milwaukee has a 4-game homestand that heads into All-Star break here. But the Bucks, they're back in action tonight. No rest for the wicked. They're against the Hornets. They finish off a stretch of 5 games in 7 days. And, I mean, this was a tough spot, right? It was a tough spot for Doc to take over the schedule. The rest of the Eastern Conference, though, they're not going to wait around while the Milwaukee Bucks figure things out. Perk, what's your level of concern here?
Oh, it's high. It's extremely high. And they need to get Patrick Beverley in that locker room ASAP. And I'm not about to go back and forth with you today, Austin, about Pat Bev, but I will go back and forth about this team and the players. This is not about the coach, right? This is about the team and their, finding their effort. We're talking about a Giannis-led team on the floor, and I have concerns about their effort. For some reason, I don't hear the fans screaming, Bobby. I'm not seeing that Bobby Portis effect come in off the bench. They need Patrick Beverley. They need him desperately, just for his energy, his tenacity.
And this is what Patrick Beverley taking to social media saying, someone tell campaign to take his physical. I'm trying to play tonight.
But just even this tweet alone, they need that type of energy in the locker room right now.
My level of concern is a medium. I would say a medium concern because I look at there's always a transitional period. We talk about the Clippers being the best team in the NBA. Once they got James Harden, there were people that were just obliterating the move,
the
obliterating
5-game losing streak to start.
Doing all of these things. And then all of a sudden that system took in place. Then all of a sudden they got healthy. They lost Zubac the minute they got James Harden. So there was a transitional period. It's different from coaching. It's different with coaching. I had an experience where we fired a coach, David Blatt, T. Lue took over. And even then, it was a transitional period. We won 10 games in a row in the postseason that year. T. Lue didn't take over, and then we went on an 8-2 stretch. It took us a little bit of time to understand who we are, what he wants from us, the new expectations. And so a lot of these things are going to take time. There's a high level of scrutiny, high level of attention. But I think, like you said, the home stretch that goes into the All-Star break, giving them a little bit of break, that, in my opinion, can propel them that final third.
Yeah, I think they just need more time to gel. It's been, first off, Damian Lillard didn't play last night or the night before in Phoenix, or the game before in Phoenix.
Yeah, ankle.
So that's obviously a big piece gone. Once they get fully healthy, obviously Chris Middleton is going to be battling some stuff, but this is a team in the distance is where they're going to be judged, and that's the playoff time. But there's a lot of pressure to get this done. I mean, who are we kidding? This is a team that we always talk about championship or bust. Then you add a player like Damian Lillard. This is a team that is supposed to win and contend right now. Giannis is in his prime. He's in his MVP era. So there's a lot of pressure added to this. And obviously, they've had major changes. So this is going to take some time. Hopefully, they can get it together like the Clippers have.
So in this case, I can't use the whiteboard and spreadsheets to prove my point because that looks bad on the grid. But talking to people around the team, internally, they do believe that they are making strides. They do believe that they are improving their preparation and their systems and their procedures. And they do believe that it will eventually pay off. I can't present a case that it looks like that way, but the people who are around the team say that they believe in this. So I am going to trust them and say that I believe in it as well.
But how high are the stakes for this?
I think next year is when
Well,
a lot of the...
but you know what I'm asking.
I mean, there's only one person who can answer that question. You know, they had a very disappointing end to last season. And they had massive change off of that.
Yeah.
If that massive change doesn't lead to a good ending to this season, I don't know where Giannis is going to be. And that's just what I say. I don't know.
What is a good ending for them? Right? Again, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, finals. No.
I'm saying, but next year would be the year they have to.
No.
Like
this year they have to get to the finals. And I don't want to hear this heartfelt speech about failure in life, and you have to go through failure from Giannis when it do happen.
Who's the best team in the East?
Thank you.
Who's the best team?
They have. Y'all the ones that keep telling me. Okay, so you asking me to answer this then.
If they lose in 7 to Boston,
let me ask you this. If that's the case, then why every single time I bring up something, y'all tell me about superstar power? So y'all telling me about superstars in the postseason. And when I brought up the Knicks,
superstars.
Okay, but are you taking Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or are you taking Giannis and Dame?
We haven't seen Giannis and Dame yet.
What you mean we haven't seen Giannis and Dame
yet?
yet?
Not with the new system.
We've seen enough of them.
Bro,
they got new plays, new offense, new
I think it
defense,
depends on how they lose.
It's a whole new team.
I think it depends on how they lose, right? If they lose to Boston in the second round in a hard-fought 7-game series, potentially that sits differently. But the only person who can answer the question of what's good enough is Giannis Antetokounmpo. What all of us say, we can all have different opinions. The only one that matters, really, is his.
NBA,